Letter 1, Excerpt 5. Summary. There is neither record of Jesus' early life as a young man nor of his experience in the desert. Not a word is said about what happened to him in the desert. What was that turned him into a teacher and healer? The truth regarding his human state was omitted to give greater credibility to his supposed divinity and ministry. All those myths about Jesus' person are preventing people from evolving spiritually. The evangelists told only what they personally remembered, which fully supported their account of Jesus' supernatural activities. Significantly, it has never been publicly questioned why there is no record of my early life as a young man. What was the true reason for such an all-important omission? Equally significantly, although I spent 6 weeks in the desert after my baptism and emerged from that experience as a teacher and healer, not one writer has even attempted to describe what actually took place during that time, other than that I was tempted of the devil and was with the wild beasts, and the angels were with him. There is not the slightest hint as to what happened to me in the desert, which would enable me to come back to towns and villages, proclaiming the kingdom of God is within, and to speak in the synagogues with such authority that the Jewish elders were astonished. The truth regarding my human state was, by common consent of my disciples, suppressed to give greater credence to my supposed divinity and ministry. According to the Gospels, it was said of me that I was the only Son of God. Why then did I frequently refer to myself as the Son of Man? I specifically made these statements to counteract the prevalent beliefs in my divinity and to impress on people's minds that I was of the same physical origins as themselves. I intended them to understand that what I could do, they could also do if they only had my knowledge and follow my instructions for right thinking and right action. So many myths have arisen around my earthly person and my spiritual consciousness that it is time to be rid of them as completely as possible, since they are preventing people from evolving spiritually. You, who have been indoctrinated with religious teachings, must try to understand that when describing my life, my disciple evangelists told only what they personally remembered, which fully supported their account of my supernatural activities. They also included much that had been spoken of me by others during the 30-odd years following my death. After such a lapse of time and inevitable embroidery of truth, how could they possibly write an authoritative biography of me and of what really happened, or properly explain my true spiritual perceptions which gave birth to my words and miracles? Only one person can write from this standpoint, and that is myself. Therefore, these letters will bring you my truth in a way that no spectator could possibly tell it, no matter how well they thought they understood my thinking. For this reason, over 40 years, my recorder's mind has been systematically cleansed of all orthodox teachings, and the system of communication between us has been perfected. If my truth expressed in these letters differs from much written in the New Testament, is it to be wondered at or rejected for that reason alone? Therefore, I am descending in consciousness briefly, as near as necessary, to your plane of consciousness to describe my life and teachings 2,000 years ago.
Hello!
How are you today? My friends, my brothers, my sisters. I'm your friend and brother Michael's son. It's good to be here again. So, we are moving on with the reading of letter 1, and today we read excerpt 5. Okay? And in this excerpt, the Spirit tells us something about which many of you must have wondered once or twice in life. How is it that the New Testament, and specifically, contain no record of Jesus' early life? Not really. There's no real record of his early life. Just that episode when he was supposedly, let's say he was, taken to the temple by his mom and probably his dad. And at the age of 12 years. And secondly, I'm going to comment about these two things. And secondly, why is it so that the Gospels don't say almost anything, really anything pertinent, anything important about what happened to Jesus in the desert? Okay? So, about number 1. Why is it so that there is no record of Jesus' early life? Well, I'll tell you why, and in our next readings we will go into that, and the letters will tell us in more detail why was that so. But basically, this was done by common consent of the disciples, the evangelists, and also St. Paul, to suppress the truth about the real human condition of Jesus of Nazareth, and to stress his supposed divinity and ministry, basically because of that. And also, particularly perhaps because in his early life, Jesus' life was rather, let us say, disorderly. Okay, we'll see more details about that. But he was, of course, prepared. He was prepared, and in his 20s, his life started to change, and he started to desire deeply a change and wanted to know there was a burning desire in his heart to know what was God really, because he saw that he saw it in nature, in the vibrant life of nature. Well, and that other things. Okay, that's number 1. And about number 2, why is it so that the Gospels don't tell us a word about what truly happened to Jesus in the desert? He was there 6 weeks. Okay, and he was a man like you and I. Okay, he was prepared for his mission. He was ready to experience what he experienced in the desert. But why were we not told about that? Those things were concealed from us, were kept hidden from us. He went there for 6 months, he entered there a man, and he came out still a man, but a man that was now a master and a healer. What happened to him? Are you not curious, brother, to learn to learn the truth of what happened there? The truth told by the very source, the truth told by he himself who lived that experience, the very Spirit of Christ who was incarnated in Jesus of Nazareth and was baptized by John in the Jordan River, John the Baptist, and then wow, and super, ultra, mega wow. Can't believe in what unimaginable, unbelievable, wondrous experiences he underwent in the desert. And those are told in detail in the letters. He gained a knowledge that made of him a master and a healer. a knowledge that awakened in him his true divine nature, the same divine nature of you yourself, dear brother and sister. When I say brother, I include you divine sisters, you know that. And my divine nature, how was that so? So there is only one person, that's what the letters tell us, who can really set the record straight, and that is what Jesus of Nazareth does no longer exist, but the Spirit of Christ, who was incarnated, is back here telling us what really happened. You must try to understand, dear Christian brother, that the evangelist wrote the Gospels 30 years after Jesus of Nazareth was killed on the cross. And in addition to there was the inevitable embroidery of the truth. And all that happens in 30 years, all the talk, you can't imagine, I can't imagine, I'm sure you can, if you think about it, you will imagine how a lot was talked and said about this extraordinary man who had been within them and who had made such extraordinary things. Can't you see the men and the women also behind the men, maybe standing up behind the men and around the fire, united around the fire and talking about that, and maybe one or two actual witnesses. I was there when this man who had been crippled all his life, he all of a sudden, after this man Jesus put his hands on him for a while, he stood up from his bed and started to dance and cry of utter joy. So many, and so much talk and so much, embellishment of the truth. And so the evangelist only told those things that they, one, personally remembered, and two, those things that supported this notion of Jesus' supposed divinity and his supernatural activities. That's what the reading of today tells us. Okay, listen, my dear brother, as I have said already, open your heart, open your mind to something. If you feel the urge, if you feel the call, the impulse in your heart, don't suffocate it. Don't quench it. Don't suppress it. Follow your impulse. If you feel that that the truth is beyond, that there's some be much more to it, and there is much more to it, that what we have been told by Christian doctrine. There is so much to it, and so wonderfully magnificent, so glorious. Yes. Don't suppress that call in your heart. Pay heed to it. And please, I invite you, read letter 1 at least. Read letter 1 at least. And see what happens in your heart. And if there is something that tells you, there's something here for me, this must be true, please keep on that path. Okay? Stick with me here. I appreciate so much. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Please give me a like if you like this video. Hit the button below to subscribe to my channel. And thanks so much for sharing with friends. Kisses and big loving hugs to all. I love you. Thanks so much for being here with me today. Hasta la vista, amigos.